This video is sponsored by Hover. Here's everything that I keep in my camera bag at the moment, and I just need to get this thing off my tripod so I can show you this one too. I'll be right back. Folks, it's been nearly 4 years since I stopped working as a business psychologist and went into content creation full time. And yeah, my setup has changed a lot since I started making YouTube videos in my spare room. 2 studios, over 250 videos, and plenty of learning later. I've refined all the camera gear I use, particularly the stuff I take with me on filming days. Here's a rundown of what I'm using right now. Let's talk about the bag. This thing is a bit of a luxury, but I figure this thing needs to look after thousands of pounds worth of equipment. I might as well make it a decent investment. And also, I wanted something that didn't look like a traditional camera bag, you know, this sort of thing. To me, these types of bags just televise to the world that you're carrying loads of expensive gear around and might be a good target to get robbed. Well, this one that I've chosen is by Grams 28. Well, in another video earlier this year, I call this the Rolls Royce of bags. It's not cheap, but crikey, it is absolutely beautiful. This is their 301 Adventure backpack, and it comes in a few different shades, but I went for the olive for something a bit different. It's got a fully openable front design, so I can access everything I need without having to dig around for my gear blind with one arm like you have to in most backpacks. There's also a dedicated laptop and a tablet compartment around the back, which is super handy. It's made from waterproof and scratch-resistant X-Pack material, and it's got these lovely double buckles that keep the top flap connected. Just beautiful attention to detail, and I love these little flashes of leather on the back and the strap. Not too much, and it just sets everything off really nicely. I think even if you're not after a camera bag, I would recommend this for an overnight bag that feels absolutely luxurious to wear, and it's going to keep your stuff nice and safe. Next, let's take a look at my main camera for video work. This is relatively new, but I'm so happy with it. It's the Sony FX2. It's a full frame cinema camera, which takes incredible footage for A-roll, and I've also been using it with some B-roll shots too, as the footage is so crispy. I can get 4K up to 60 frames a second with this in 10-bit footage with over 15 stops of dynamic range. Now, I can record on either SD cards or CF Express or both, and the autofocus on this thing is next level. And this is the only one of Sony's FX cameras that does this. It's got a swivel eyepiece. Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times I've already found this feature really helpful, especially for looking down into the camera at product shots. Now, there's another reason I chose this model, because although this is a cinema camera, it also takes superb still photos. So chances are most of the thumbnails that you see on this channel were actually taken with this camera too. An absolutely superb workhorse for a channel like this. Now, the FX2 already has mounting holes built in, but I have fitted it with a custom small rig cage that gives me some extra options for mounting things like lights and microphones and monitors, depending on what I'm doing with it. And up front, the main lens that I use in this one, the one that you'll see me using in almost all my A-roll footage, some of my B-roll too, is the Sony 20mm f1.8 G Master. It's wide enough to get in some nice sharp footage for these types of videos, but also detailed enough that I can get some nice product shots with good depth of field in. A great little investment as part of the Sony ecosystem. Now, I have sometimes used the Sony 70-200mm f2.8 G Master telephoto for commercial shoots to go with this, but it's a very expensive lens to buy, and I only use it occasionally, so I tend to rent it if I ever need it for a shoot. A couple of other little items that I keep with me on location shoot days. I've got some polarizers here. These help deal with harsh light conditions. There's also this little lens cleaning tool and brush. And finally, here's a remote control that pairs with my camera. This means that I can get behind the lens and trigger the shutter or video from a distance, which often comes in handy. Another thing that I often pair up with this camera, even though it has the cool tilting eyepiece and display, is a proper monitor. This one is from Godox. It's their GM55. If I'm recording by myself here in the studio, I usually mount it over here or up on the arm if I'm filming somebody else or I'm out and about. Now, I have been considering using the Sony app to connect my iPad up to my FX2 instead to do the same thing, but it kind of feels like it might be more trouble than it's worth. If you own this camera, let me know if you tried this and if it works. So that's for monitoring video. If I need to monitor sound, I tend to use these headphones here from TrueFree. They're called the HF10s, I think, and they're a great option for just plugging into the 3.5mm jack here and hearing what's going on, especially when I'm using wireless mics from a distance. They're also under 40 quid, so I don't need to worry about babying them when they're not in use in my bag. And when they're not in use as monitor headphones, they do actually work pretty well as wireless noise cancelling cans too. So if I ever need to sit and get an edit done really quickly after a shoot, these can often come in really handy. And next up, we've got some of the other cameras that I use. First of all, there's this new drone, which is from Hover Air. This is their brand new Aqua model, and it's the world's first waterproof self-piloting camera. You might remember last year I featured their flagship X1 Pro Max, which I also use in my setup, but this one has a brilliant trick that's a world first. And no, it's not the fact that it comes in my favorite color. Check this out. It can actually take off and land from water, and it'll even do it if it's upside down. So if you're into kayaking or surfing or just filming anywhere near water, this thing's gonna have you covered. Now, because I live in the UK, I've been really looking forward to testing this too, because it means I can use it in the rain. We get a lot of rain here. And you don't even have to worry about fiddly controls. You can just strap this lighthouse control to your arm and it'll let the drone know where you are right down to the nearest centimetre. Now, the lighthouse also lets you control the Hover Air Aqua too. The drone can also fly itself if needed. So you just set the mode, press the button and let it do its thing. For example, there's this top-down bird's eye view, follow, dolly track, zoom out, and they even have dedicated modes for water sports too. Now, it doesn't just need to be used on water though. You can pair this up to the beacon controller and take it for a more manual drone flight like this cool shot of my city, or have it follow you around on your bike. It can fly at up to 55 miles an hour, so it'll easily catch me up. Now, the Hover Air Aqua is feather light, it's under 250 grams, crucial to know for your local drone laws, plus you can get 4K footage at up to 100 frames a second for some super slow motion breakdowns of all your adventures. I'm going to be taking this one on holiday with me soon, so check back for some crispy Italian scenery shots and a full in-depth review. Meanwhile, if you want to check out all the latest bundles on the Hover Air Aqua and also get a free wetsuit for your new drone, just scan this code or check out my link below. I've got a few more things in here to show you. Firstly, there's my B-roll camera. It's the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I actually bought the creator combo that comes with a battery extender and a little tripod too. I sometimes even pair this up with this small rig neck strap so I can easily film kind of POV style shots like I did with this scooter review last year, or if I'm walking around and I need a shot of both my hands in the frame playing with my phone, that sort of thing. This is such a great little camera for unobtrusive vlog style content, but also more complex studio work like this. Most people never guess that these shots were taken with this tiny little camera, and even as a family holiday camera, you really can't go wrong with this one. I just wish it was a bit more weatherproof and a bit more rugged. As you can see, this one's taken a few knocks since I've owned it. Now, like a lot of people, I've been waiting for the upcoming Osmo 4P to release for what seems like forever, but they have frankly made a right mess of the launch. So for now, I'm sticking to this one. And then for everything else that's a bit more actiony, I've got this one. It's the DJI Osmo 360. It's my other waterproof camera that's great for really tight spots like climbing this cathedral here. I definitely never get another camera up here to get this really wide shot in this stairway. And all I need to worry about is pointing the camera roughly in the right place and then making sure I press record at the right time, because I can then reframe and add cool special effects in the DJI software afterwards. Oh yeah, it's even got one of these cool invisible selfie sticks, so this thing disappears in all the footage. And finally, microphone wise, obviously for studio work, I've got this Rode mic for all my A-roll work, but out and about, I tend to go with the DJI Mic 3, not the Mini, because they do look alike. Now, these come in a charging case with all the cables and magnets you'll ever need to fix them to someone, plus the ability to pair them up with either of my DJI cameras, or I can plug in this receiver unit and then link them up to my Sony FX2 nice and easily. I chose these mics for 4 reasons. Firstly, the size. Some wireless microphones are just huge, and yeah, I'm looking at you, Rode. These are not going to drag your shirt down, and they're still super discreet. Secondly, the sound quality is superb. You can actually wear them properly without having to do that annoying influencer thing by holding them up to your mouth. And then number 3, they record 32-bit float audio directly onto the microphone for enhanced sound. And finally, the battery lasts for ages, up to 8 hours on a single charge, more than enough for a full day filming. Okay, there we go, folks. That's all the gear I keep with me in my camera bag for making videos on the go. Was there anything important I might have missed or anything you want to know more about? Just let me know in the comments. And if you're interested to see what kind of computing hardware I pair with all of this photography gear to get stuff done, well, check this one out over here. See you next time.